welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I make faith and lifestyle content. I'm 23, I live in Alabama with my husband and our 2 dogs. And today we are doing something a bit different. It is obviously nighttime as I'm filming this. It's like 6:30 and I'm gonna be doing a reading vlog. I've seen some booktubers make these videos and I really wanted to take part in it because I love reading, I love books, and it just seemed like a good time. I am going to, I guess, take you for the next day or two. What I'm reading, my thoughts as I'm reading. It's gonna be a great time. Some of my favorite booktubers is Haley Tam, Rachel, Catherine. She does other videos too, but I love her reading videos, her book videos especially. And then I love Sarah, I don't know how you say her last name, but I will link all these people below if you want to watch them. They very much inspired this video and I love watching their content. They're very much dedicated to book videos, especially Sarah, and Haley's vlog channel is mostly videos of books. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. I'm starting it at night because this is usually when I read. The bulk of my reading is at night, but if I get really into a book, I might read some during the day. Let's get into the books, shall we? First, I finished this book last night, Book Lovers by Emily Henry. I tabbed it a little bit, my first time tabbing a book, which was super fun, and I loved this book, so I just wanted to give it a little brief shout out. Obviously, it'll be in my June wrap up, but you know, just thought I'd show you. Most of these books that I want to read or have ideas of are on my Kindle, and then I had this one is my like nonfiction read of the month. It's Who Are You Following by Sadie Robertson Huff. I'm like almost halfway through with it. I go through this book and just like nonfiction Christian books in general pretty slow because I like to read like a chapter at a time. So we probably will not get through this book in this vlog, but we'll get through some of it. And then on my Kindle, I have a few books that I want to read on Kindle Unlimited, and then one book that I borrowed from the library, All the Right Places by Jennifer Nevin. That's the one I borrowed from the library. We'll see if I get to that. I might start with it. And then The Infinity Between Us by N.S. Perkins. I'm so excited about this book. I've read a chapter of it and I think it's just gonna be so good. So that's probably what I'm gonna read first. And that's probably definitely gonna be one that I get through because it's like a second chance, childhood, best friends to lovers, that kind of vibe, which is my favorite. Excited about that one. And then I also want to read, it's called Things We Never Got Over by Lucy Score. And then The Truth About Love by Mace Myers. So those are some books that I want to read. We'll see how many I get through in this video. Right now I'm going to start with The Infinity Between Us because I'm very excited. I'm not sure how many pages it is. I feel like I'm honestly a pretty slow reader. Oh, it's like literally 300 pages. So that's a quick read. Well, honestly, I've always felt like I was a fast reader, but then recently I feel like it takes me longer to read a book. Like it's been an hour and I haven't even read 100 pages, which I feel like is pretty slow. But I think it's because I like reread and like make sure I'm understanding. But whenever I read next to Ethan, my husband, I feel like he reads so much faster than I do. We'll see how far I get into this video. I want to time myself, so just to see how long I read. Alrighty, it has been 43 minutes and I'm on page 50. I feel like that's slow because I'm pretty sure I was on page like 17 before I started reading and I'm on page 50. I don't know, but I'm gonna take a little break, watch some YouTube, but it's pretty good so far. It's like a then and now timeline, so you get the summers when they were a kid and then the present time. Their families own this beach house together and they go during the summer, and years later they're wanting to sell the house, so they meet up at the house again. That is how they reunite, and that's about all I know, but it's pretty good so far. Day. I read maybe like a chapter of that book last night, The Infinity Between Us, and then I went to sleep. But this morning I'm doing my quiet time and I'm going to read some of this book, Who Are You Following? I usually read like a chapter at a time and just kind of go through it slowly and pick out things that stick out to me. It's very good so far. I'm really enjoying it and the chapters aren't too long. So it's just a nice little thing to read after I read my Bible and journal and things like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's a bit later. It's currently 12:23 and I just ate lunch and I thought I would do a little reading on my little lunch break or whatever. I've been doing some work this morning, so I haven't read any, but I also don't want to like read because I feel like I need to film it. So I just want to do it when I feel like it. So this is probably mostly at night, but I thought I would read a chapter or two while I'm sitting here. Also, I would love to like change up the scenery, maybe go outside, go to a park or something like that, but it's hot outside and I just don't think that's gonna happen. We're actually under a heat advisory, so that's good. It's currently 93 degrees, the high is 95, 52% humidity. So it says it feels like 104. Humidity is making it feel hotter, so that is the weather outside. It's literally awful. So I can basically go outside to let the dogs out. I'm sweating profusely and then I have to come back in. But I'm gonna sit here on my couch and read, especially because it's summer. I would love to like go by the pool or, you know, do something like that sitting outside, but it's too hot for that and I don't have a pool. Holy crap. Before Rosie just barked and scared me to death, I figured out why the title is The Infinity Between Us. So that's why I was smiling. I just figured out the title. But anyways, back to read. So I have changed sceneries. We are in my office and I made a nice coffee and I'm on page 111 and I wanted to give a little brief synopsis of what the book's about because I was watching back footage from last night and I didn't make any sense. I was like, Bethany, what are you saying? So I'm gonna explain the book real quick in hopes that it makes more sense, but I'm just now realizing that I forgot her name. I literally do this all the time. I just forget their names. I've been reading about them, but I forgot their names, so I'm gonna look that up real quick. So it's about this girl named Violet and this guy named Will, and basically both of their families own this beach house in Maine. I'm pretty sure it's in Maine. And as kids, literally basically their whole life up until they went to college, they lived in this beach house together, the two families, in the summer. So they would spend every summer together. And basically the book is about one summer when Violet was 18 and I think Will was in college. And then it goes back to the present time where Violet is wanting to sell the house and Will is not wanting to sell the house. So that's how they reunite. And it just goes back and forth between the past and the present. So anyways, that's the synopsis of the book. I don't want to give anything away, so this won't be a spoiler video. Like, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I am really liking it so far. I feel like in Second Chance romances, most of them, you get to a point, maybe like 100 pages in, where you like have to know what happens because they keep teasing it a little bit here and there, but you obviously don't know what happens, like what caused the separation until the very end. I'm probably gonna finish it today, to be honest. It's very good so far. I'm excited to see what happens. I have some inklings, but I'm also kind of worried that it's gonna be sad. Or like what happened 5 years ago is gonna be sad. I'm not really sure, but I'm enjoying it so far. And the chapters are really short. I find if chapters are really short, it's easier to get through a book. Like I hate when books have long chapters. Like I like 5 to 10 pages because it's just easier to get through the book because you want to know what happens next. And obviously each chapter, like one chapter is 5 summers ago, one chapter's in the present, so you just want to know what happens. Anyways, I'm gonna charge my camera and probably get you getting a little bit later. I need to do some things before Ethan gets off. It is currently 6:43. I've read for 3.5 hours overall the past couple days, which I feel like does not seem much at all. But obviously I have to sleep, eat, work. I am on page 386. There's like a little over 300 pages. So I feel like in the home stretch. I feel like when you get to this part of the book, you're at the really good part where it's picking up, you're finding out things that happen. The couple's starting to form a relationship in the childhood. They're getting closer in the current present decent time and you just want to know what happens. So that's where I'm at. I read for a few hours, had supper, and now we're gonna start again. My time could be off because I've been kind of not doing very well at timing myself. Either I forget to set the timer or it continues while I'm out reading. So I think 3.5 is pretty close. Okay, that's all. Now I'm gonna read. One thing that I just remembered that I want to say is I really wished you get the guy Will's point of view. I love when you get dual points of view. I just love reading the guy's perspective, so that's one thing I would have loved to have, because obviously we only get Violet's. Okay, that's all. Finish the book. It is 10 o'clock and let's see what my timer says. 6 hours and 15 minutes. That was me reading this morning too, so I think that's pretty solid. Thought it was so good. I'll probably give a little debrief tomorrow on my thoughts, but I very much enjoyed it and I highly recommend it. Such a sweet romance. I love second chance romances. They're always going to be good. So now I'm gonna go to bed. It is the next day and I'm currently reading Who Are You Following? And I want to share a quote from it because I think it's so good. It says, "The Father's affirmation from above comes before we ever do anything worthy of applause, attention, or love." And she's talking about how in the Bible, when Jesus was getting baptized, God said, "This is my son whom I love. With him I'm well pleased." And he said that before Jesus did anything on earth. He was proud of him and he was pleased with him before he ever did any miracles or performed any healings or anything like that, or before he ever preached. And it just tells us that the Father affirms us before we do anything. He's proud of us before we do anything at all. What we do doesn't determine how much he loves us. He already loves us. I just thought that was so good. And it's talking about how we should look to the Creator for our fulfillment and our purpose and affirmation instead of to the world and social media. So good. Just wanted to share that little bit, and now I'm gonna keep reading. JK, one more thing. It says, "We're waiting on people who struggle with their own insecurity, jealousy, and self-worth to affirm us in our lives instead of letting the words of our Creator be enough." That is so good. Like, we're wanting people to affirm us and like give us affirmation when they're struggling with insecurity, jealousy, and self-worth as well, when we could look to the Lord. So good. I'm gonna share a little more because this is just so good. It says, "If we want to be like Jesus, we can't just look at his public life. We have to look at what he did in private." Ephesians 5:1 says, "Be imitators of God as beloved children." If we want to imitate Jesus' life, we need to spend time with the Father privately and give him glory publicly. They were just talking about how Jesus spent so much time privately. He had years of private life, but even when he was preaching and doing miracles, he still went away to pray and he had private moments with the Lord, and that's what we are to look to and have an example of, is what Jesus did. So good. So it is way later. It is currently 6:02 and I ended up finishing this book. I was like very close to finishing it. I have like 50 pages, so I was like, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish it so I can finish it for this video, so I can do a little debrief review of both of these books. So as you saw, last night I finished The Infinity Between Us by N.S. Perkins, and I did really love it. I said earlier what it was about. Second chance romance, beach house, like a very summery vibe. If you're looking for a summer book, I would definitely recommend it. I mean, I would recommend it anyways, but I did give it 4.5 stars because I don't want to give too much away. I want to do a whole June wrap up, but I'll give a little of my thoughts. It's definitely easy to get through because you just want to know what happens, and I think that's the same for all second chance romances. I feel like they're so easy to get through because you want to know what happened that made them separate, and you're just like waiting for that to happen because it's like a build-up. So I definitely think it was very quick to get through. Obviously, I read it in basically a day. I just thought it wasn't as good as some of my favorite second chance romances. Like, I just read Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, and it's one of my favorite books ever, and it just didn't like live up to that, and that's why it's not 5 stars. And also there was quite a few spicy scenes, if you know what I mean. I could have done without. I don't prefer spicy scenes in my books anyways, but I specifically would have preferred not, because it felt like unnecessary. I was like, why are we getting this so much? I don't need this. I don't want it. Don't care about it. I just want the wholesome childhood romance and then the reuniting, you know what I mean? So I didn't really like that about the book. And I also felt like in the past timeline, because it was a then and now perspective, so you get like the past 5 summers ago and the present, I feel like in the past, the writing made it seem like she was very young, because I've read second chance romances where they are very young. They're like in their early teens or like even younger, or you know, in that age range. But she was 18 years old, and it felt like when I was reading it, I kept thinking she was younger than that. I don't know, it just felt like the writing made it feel like she was younger than she was. Like she was 18 and he was probably 19 because he was a freshman in college. They're relatively older though, not like super young, but it felt like they were young by the writing. I wasn't really sure about that in the book. I mentioned this yesterday, but I really would have liked to have Will's point of view. I don't know if that's a normal thing that happens in these second chance romances, I can't remember, but I always would like to have the guy's point of view. It's really fun to read. I'm pretty sure it was in Every Summer After, I can't remember, but it is on Kindle Unlimited. So if you have Kindle Unlimited, I think this is like one of the best books on there. I highly suggest it. Like I thought it was so good. Like a 4.5 star is very good rating. It just obviously didn't compare to some of my favorite second chance romances. And I also felt like, I don't know what it was, but I had just finished Book Lovers before I read this, and I kept finding myself missing the characters in Book Lovers and the banter in Book Lovers. I don't know what it was, I just kept missing that. So that was also a thing. Maybe it was because I started it the day after I finished Book Lovers and I was still kind of in the Book Lovers mindset. I don't really know. But I did really enjoy the book. I watch Rachel Catherine's videos, and in her book videos, sometimes she's like, it just didn't have that 5-star feeling. And that's how I felt about this book. It just didn't have that 5-star feeling when I finished it, and maybe it was just the mindset that I was in, because I just finished Book Lovers. I have finished quite a few good books recently that I was like kind of more harsh on the rating. Maybe if I was in a book slump and I read this book, it would be 5 stars. Overall, I did really enjoy it. I do recommend it, especially if you have Kindle Unlimited. I think it was very good, but just not as good as Every Summer After. Like if you're gonna read one, I'd pick Every Summer After. But if you loved Every Summer After, this is a good book that's kind of in the same vein. It's definitely just very similar. Summery vibe if you're needing a good book to read on the beach. This is it. Next, I obviously read Who Are You Following by Sadie Robertson Huff, and I did really enjoy this book. I would give this book a 4.5 because I thought it was so good. I thought so many things were so good. I thought just the way that she kind of put it all together was so good. It's basically pursuing Jesus in a social media obsessed world. I love how she talked about social media, who you're following, and she brought it back to Jesus in the Bible. She talked about cancel culture and how Jesus was, like, he was canceled the worst in the Bible, and she just makes comparisons of things that happen now and things that happen in the Bible. And I thought it was so good. Like, I really enjoyed it, and I feel like if I had this book as my own, I would love to have it like on my bookshelf. I probably would look back on some of the things and reread it because it was really good, but it just wasn't as good as some of my 5-star favorites. When I was thinking about my rating, I was thinking about It's Not Supposed to Be This Way by Lisa TerKeurst, and that book literally is incredible. I still think about it. It just like changed my perspective and just like truly helped me so much, and I just didn't feel like this book could compare to that, so that's why I can't give it 5 stars. I'm being so picky about ratings, but I feel like I need to get better about being picky about my ratings, so I'm not giving everything 5 stars. Like, I need to be a little picky. But at the back, one thing I really loved is it has a follower assessment, also has a follower goals, and so I just think that's really great that she's like talking about all this and diving deep into it, and then at the end she gives you practical ways to like reflect on your own life and who you're following on social media and who you're letting influence you, not just on social media but also in real life. I do really love this book and I highly suggest it. I feel like these books in this video were really good. I feel like this was a very successful reading vlog, so let me know if you enjoyed watching me like read these and kind of getting my thoughts as I was reading them, because I felt like that was kind of fun. So I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to subscribe. I post every Tuesday and Saturday here on YouTube. You can also follow me on Instagram, and I have a book Instagram, and I've been pretty active on it. I have so much fun over there, and I've just been posting some fun things. Today I made like a little book tracker for my story, which is super fun. So I've just been having a blast over on my book Instagram, so you should follow me there. But I think that's it for this video, and I'll see you very soon for my next one. Bye.